Still not right. Hold on. That's as good as it's gonna get. Oh, airplane. Can you see it? Yeah, you can see it. Right there somewhere. Oh man, my body feels like shit. Well, not my body, mainly my joints. Oh, there's a fucking... Hold on, sorry. Technical difficulties. Hold on. Alright, that's what we got for today. Hold on. Internet's being slow. Alright, slow ass internet. There you go. Hold on, it's loading. Yeah, I know my fucking tire pressure's low. You don't gotta keep thinking. You see the tow truck there? He's waiting for an accident. Tow truck was on the left, in the center of traffic. I don't know what's going on. Oh, they must be redoing it. They're redoing the awning, I guess. They got this one little lone pump pulled by itself all the way over here. That's gotta be diesel. Or maybe it's like some type of like E85, like, I don't know. It's gotta be diesel. One day I'll figure out what that pump is. Not right now. What is this shit? Oh, right here, see, they got a camera here. Oh, got him, it flashed. There's a camera on that side and a camera behind me. Flashed him. You know, it's crazy. Chicago's got to keep fucking putting up more speed cameras for that $30 million loan they took out. But they still won't fix the fucking potholes. Why? Trump turns up the heat in Washington. This looks good. Let's see this. I want to see what Trump's turning up the heat in Washington for. Washington left stunned. No, my penis works fine. I don't need that.
Like the rest of us, it doesn't work when you don't trip. And I see companies now are all going back to it. We're all going back to sport.
Oh, this is live.
Absolutely going back. You can't work.
The president's speaking right now.
They're playing tennis, they're playing golf, or they have other jobs. But they're not working, or they're certainly not working hard. You could never build a company or a country with that. So we have a very strong policy, and if they don't show up to work, they get fired. And we're trying to make our government smaller but much stronger.
That's good.
And we have tremendous bureaucracy, but it's happening. A lot of people are leaving, and in some cases leaving with pretty good offers. You know, you're paid 7 or 8 months and go out, find a job. But some of these people had jobs. They were actually working for us, but they also had other jobs. And those people, in theory, they have problems. I don't know if we're going to do anything about that. So they have other things to do, but they were working other jobs instead of working for us. So they were staying home working, but they were working other jobs, getting paid a lot of money, perhaps.
One of those people.
We offered deferred resignation buyouts to all federal workers, resulting in more than 75,000 bureaucrats voluntarily surrendering their taxpayer-funded jobs. A lot of them are leaving because they don't want to be caught having the second job. Some are leaving because they didn't want to be in government any longer, and And some are leaving because they didn't want to show up to work. They wanted to work outside of an office. And that's never going to work for anybody, including companies. Companies ought to get smart. You watch these companies where they do that. They start going bad. Nobody knows what's wrong with this company. Well, try getting the people back into the office where they can be cohesive and together. In less than a single month, the Department of Government Efficiency has already saved over 55, this is just a short period of time, $55 billion. And we're just getting started. That's nothing compared to the numbers that you're talking about, right? We're ending trillions of dollars in waste, and it'll mean much lower inflation, lower interest rates, lower payments on mortgages, credit cards, car loans, and much higher stock markets. I think the stock market's going to be great. In other words, we will rapidly grow our economy by dramatically shrinking the federal government, that we have to do it. I'm also taking fast action to end.
That pothole's a little fucking sneaky bitch right now. You know why? The water is like level with the fucking ground, so it just looks like a puddle. So many people are probably going to hit that shit right now and pop their tire.
Radical left's nation-wrecking crusade against oil and natural gas. Over the past 4 years, the Biden administration cut the number of new oil leases and gas leases by 95%. They slowed new pipeline. I mean, look at the...
Hell yeah, Keystone Pipeline.
Anyone, Dakota Access, they wanted that one knocked out. The Keystone Pipeline, they wanted that one knocked out. They ended the Keystone. We got the Dakota Access done. But it wasn't easy after they tried to stop it. They slowed new oil and gas pipeline construction to virtually a halt. They shut down 38% of active oil and gas rigs in the United States. But they love the wind turbines. They go round and round and round. And the wind doesn't blow, they got problems. They kill all the birds. They ruin the sight lines. They ruin the plains and the beautiful areas of our country, including the oceans, the lakes. They closed more than 50 power plants, all causing energy prices to skyrocket. You saw that happen. That's what caused inflation, pretty easy.
Oh, energy's down right now, too. The price of energy, Trump did something, and the price of energy is way, way cheaper right now.
Meant for emergencies.
When I say energy, I'm talking like electricity.
For getting a price of gasoline down so that you can win it.
Hey, has anyone else's electricity fucking bill been down? I've had a lot of people telling me the electricity bill, everyone's electricity bill that they recently got was like real cheap. And that's thanks to President Trump. If you notice your electric bill is cheaper right now, thank President Trump.
Didn't work for winning the election. Actually, there's so many people that are driving that it's a very small number, just had a very small effect, but in the meantime it takes it down. It's at we'll fill it up fast, but it's at the lowest level. When we made the transition, it was at the lowest level in history ever recorded, at the lowest level. Nobody's ever seen it that way. They put it all out because they thought they could keep gasoline prices down a little bit, just go past the election, and after that they didn't care.
By using the emergency oil reserve.
I got elected, but the price of gasoline still rose over 35%, and in some cases, at some periods, it was 100% and 125% during certain periods of time. Under the Trump administration, we have implemented
You've brought down the price of energy
plan. You probably heard of it. It's called Drill, Baby, Drill.
Hell yeah! I like that plan.
The world runs on low-cost energy, and energy-producing nations like us have nothing to apologize for.
I gotta give
more
them a
energy
plan for
than
that
any
one,
other
too.
nation in the world. And
drill, baby, drill. I like that.
We're going to use it on AI plants. I was telling some of the people that.
That's the one thing I don't really like, the AI shit.
Everybody's talking about AI. I hope you're right. I don't know. Who knows? But
I get why he's doing it. AI shit.
They are all in for AI. But the problem is, to do it, just in our country, you need twice the electricity just to open up and be the top of AI. You need twice the electricity that we have right now in the entire country. If you take all of the electricity, you need more than twice. You need double what we have right now just to fuel this new industry that's growing.
And then you want to talk about electric cars, that's a whole nother fucking
how can we do this? Because in China and various other places, you can probably get it with the shake of a hand.
But we could
In
do
our
it
country,
with
you can't, but now you
hydrogen-powered
can because
vehicles.
I'm declaring a national emergency in order to get fast approvals. And we're going to have, if you build a plant, you're able to build an electric generating facility right next to your plant. So you'll be making your
that's
own.
cool.
You won't have to count on utilities. You won't have to count on an old grid that could fail.
That's
could
good.
get hit by something, bad
So
things
if
or good
you're
things.
building a
But
factory,
you're
you
not
can
going to
build
have
your own
to.
power
You're
plant?
not going to have to worry about grids. You're not going to have to build your
what's
plant,
up,
and you'll build your essentially you become a
August?
utility in a way.
Sorry,
You build your
I
own
can't see
electricity.
it.
If you want to build extra and put it out and get paid for that, you're going to be able to do that. You could put it back into the grid, but you're going to be able to build with your plant a generating facility.
Hang
And
on,
we're going to
let me
get you
read
Lee
your
Zeldin, head of the environment, head of environmental
Agent
the
said,
environmental group,
hello.
various groups, and
Hi,
we've got them
Agent.
unified now, but we're going to get you
Hello,
very fast
Agent.
approvals, and they'll be approved so fast.
I
your
am
head won't
Agent.
spin,
What's up, Agent?
and we're going to get that whole industry started, and we're going to be
Yeah,
ahead
have
of
you
it. We're
noticed your
leading right
electric
now. We're the
bill is
greatest
cheaper,
brain power. We're
Agent?
leading right
Did
now.
you,
and
this
I
month, your
expect that we're
current
going to be leading
electric
by a
bill,
lot, but we're going
did
to
it
get you
go
the energy
down?
very, very quickly. That would
Agent?
be the one thing that
Or do you
everybody was concerned. How do
live
we
in a
have that
van
much
down by the
electricity
river like
when
me?
Los Angeles has blackouts and brownouts right now? And
Yeah, they do.
there's a lack of electricity, but we're going to get it at levels never seen before. I ended the ridiculous Green New Scam, halting
Thank
tens
you,
of billions
President
of
Trump.
dollars of wasteful deficit spending. And I withdrew the United States from the unfair one-sided
in
Paris
person at your
Climate
speech,
Accord,
you
and
would
I
hear my
ended Joe
clap.
Biden's insane electric vehicle mandate because it was just
Thank
insane.
God, hell yeah.
I repealed the last, and by the way, if you
No
want to
more
buy an
bullshit
electric car,
electric
it's
deal
great. If you want to
mandate.
buy a
Thank you, President Trump.
gasoline-driven car or a hybrid, it's great. Whatever the thing happens to be. I heard hydrogen's hot. The
Hell
problem
yeah,
is, when
hydrogen
it's
powered
not,
cars.
you're
That's
in
what we
deep
got to do.
trouble.
That's what I keep saying.
Because when that
You
sucker
maybe catch
blows
that
up,
from my
they
YouTube
don't find the
channel.
body. So that's one that I said, you know what, let's take a pass on that one. They
The
said it's
Donald
good,
Trump
but
troll
when
my
it's bad, it's
YouTube
really
channel
bad. You find the
on
bodies on
hydrogen
trees, on the
cars.
side of a tree. I said, I think we'll pass on that one, right? We're not going to want that one. But you never know. Maybe someday it'll be good, but it doesn't sound like it's off to a good start. I repealed the last administration's very destructive natural gas.
This is who runs the Department of Financial Services in Illinois, and they don't want you to know about this.
In other news, Illinois residents are going to be happy to hear this. It just came out. There's a new website where any Illinois resident, as long as you live within a zip code in the state,
This
you
is
can apply
AI.
to have your auto insurance rates reduced
This
significantly.
is an AI
All you have to
commercial.
do to qualify.
You can tell by the fucking
But they
fake
want it
AI
so
voice.
badly. They said we went to the Biden administration. They wouldn't sell it. They wouldn't sell it. Nobody knows why. Biden didn't know why either. They asked him. I don't know.
I didn't know.
You
I
want-
didn't know
if they
jack
did- oh,
shit.
I didn't know that. But we're going to sell it, and the new project in Alaska is going to
Hell
feed
yeah,
all of
what's
Asia.
that?
We're going to take care of all of Asia. We have so much oil and gas, like very few people, like very few countries have, like really actually no
traffic's
country has.
bad.
I
Look at
also
it. Look
met
at
with
the
Prime
traffic
Minister
in the
Modi
opposite
of
direction.
India, who wants to
God
greatly
damn.
expand India's purchase of American
gotta
energy,
go
and my
somewhere in
administration
Chicago
has
today,
also
you ain't
launched the
going
most
nowhere.
aggressive deregulation program of any nation in history. Under my executive
take you
order,
1 hour
for
to
every
go
one
fucking
new
3
regulation
miles.
added, 10 old regulations have to be eliminated.
9 miles will take 1 hour in Chicago today. Maybe 2.
And you know, in our first term, which was actually an incredible success, we had the greatest economy in
was,
history
President Trump.
until COVID, and even after that, we did great. The stock market was higher.
Even after
If
you
you
left
think of
office,
it was
still
higher
doing
after
good.
the fact.
Biden was rubbing on
After
your
we
gravy
went through that
train.
whole thing, it was higher than it was just prior to COVID coming in, which is a pretty amazing thing. But we did a great job on that, but it was a terrible thing for the world. The whole world suffered. It suffered terribly, including China, including other countries. It was a terrible period of time. But despite that, we did well. But we had the greatest economy in the history of our country. And I think this time we're going to do even better. We were artificially hurt by COVID. We had to focus on that instead of focusing on, but just prior to COVID coming in, there's never been anything like what we did, what we achieved. And even after we did very well, and especially considering what all of us had to do with COVID. Some nations were hit so badly, it's just unbelievable what happened to them. As part of our effort, I've signed executive orders to keep the United States at the forefront of artificial intelligence and to end Joe Biden's war on Bitcoin and crypto. We ended that war totally. That war is over. They were very hostile toward them until the very end, just because there's so many people on Bitcoin and crypto that just before the end, the SEC came out and they were being very nice. I was so nice to people because so many people were being indicted for no reason whatsoever. Very political group of people. That's all they did was they liked indicting people. But they were being indicted, and many of those indictments were dropped just before the election because they said, wait a minute, there's 100 million, 125 million people using this, and they didn't want to have, all these people being voted against. But by the time they did that, it was too late. We had that vote entirely, I think. I think anybody smart that believed in that, and there were a lot of people believing it, anybody that was smart voted for Trump. And they pulled the indictments. Yep, and I see people that were indicted. I said, I saved your life. I saved your life. Because if they thought that, they actually thought that I was doing it, they said, why is Trump doing it? Is he doing it for political reasons? I don't do anything for political reasons.
He's doing it because he wants the country to be good.
I want to be in the forefront of every industry. So I'll be working with the Republican Congress to pass the largest tax cuts
There's that
in
fucking
American
silo
history.
I wish I could
And that
fucking get to the roof
includes,
of.
obviously, that includes we have to extend the Trump tax cuts, which were
I want to
until
get
now
to the
the
roof of that
largest. We're
silo
going to
right there, but I
dramatically cut
gotta get a
taxes for
grappling
families
hook.
and for
I can't
workers
get to
and
the
for
top without a
companies,
grappling
including no
hook.
tax on tips and hopefully no tax on Social Security and no
I need
tax
like
on
one of the
overtime.
Batman grappling
And that
hooks to
overtime one
fucking
is
get
a
to the
sleeper
rooftop.
because I think a lot of people are going to be
way.
spurred on to do a lot of extra
All the
work
way up there.
when they hear
But I
that.
need a
So
grappling
a lot
hook
of
for the
companies
first couple
really like
floors.
it. A lot of
The
people really
staircases
like it.
collapsed.
The new Trump tax cuts will also include 100% expensing for new factory construction in the United States and anything else that you're going to buy with capital. If you buy something that is going to be good for our country, we're going to let you expense it, 1 year expense. And I did that the first time, and
What does that
everybody was saying, can you go back to that? Now you still get, I guess, 40% or whatever, but it pares down. But
Well, you
we're
get
gonna
money
bring
back
that
on
right
your
up to
taxes with
the,
your receipt
to the
or
top
something if
level.
it's
I
made
think
in
that had a
America.
lot to
What's
do
he
with the
talking
success
about?
that I had during my first term. And we'll substantially cut taxes for all domestic producers of oil
And
and
if you
gas
make
and
less than
just about everything else that
150,000
they
a year, he
produce.
wants to try and cut
In my
take your
first term, I
taxes.
brought the business tax down from around 40% to
Trump's good for
21%,
everybody.
which everybody said was an impossible thing
Even
to do.
other
And cut it from
countries,
40,
except
it
China.
actually was state and city was much higher than 40.
China's
I
been
got it down
stealing
to
our lunches.
21%, and now I'm bringing it down to a goal of 15%, but only if you make your product in America. In other words, you're going to be at 21%, but if you make your product in America, you're going to go from 21 to 15. If you don't, you're going to pay 21%, which is still lower than anything. So guys like Elon are going to come and make his great cars in the United States. A lot of people will. A lot of people are calling. A lot of car companies are calling. They call me. Three of the
I
majors.
should call
they
him and be
called
like,
and
man,
they
I'm trying to
said,
start a
we're
hydrogen.
looking all over the place. We want to be there.
If I had Trump's phone number, I would call him and be like, hey man, I'm trying to start a hydrogen-powered car company. Here's my idea. I'll present it to you. Here's the body styles. Will you give me a government grant to start my hydrogen-powered car company? I wish I had Trump's number. I'd call him.
I'm going to be announcing tariffs on cars and semiconductors and chips and pharmaceuticals, drugs and pharmaceuticals and lumber probably and some other things over the next
Be
month.
careful with the
sooner.
pharmaceuticals, Trump. We gotta first start making them here.
It's going to have a big impact on America. We're bringing our businesses back. If they don't make their product in America, then they have to pay a tariff. But if they do make their product in America, they don't have to pay any tariff, which will it's all going to bring trillions of dollars into our treasury, or it's going to mean that there won't be any taxes because we won't have a fair base. If they don't have it, we don't have it. If they don't pay, if they don't charge us, we don't charge them. It's pretty simple. The Republican Party is once again the party of common sense. We're a party of common sense. We want strong borders. We don't want men playing in women's sports. We don't want to have transgender for everybody. We're the party of common sense. That's how we won the election in such a big manner. We'll no longer...
I like this Republican Party. I didn't really like the old Republican Party, but this Republican Party I like. I'm talking about like the George Bush Republican Party. I didn't like it. I didn't like the Republican Party like when George Bush was president, per se. George Bush is the reason we got into the fucking war in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Other countries to ransack and
He wanted
plunder
that
our
oil.
nation. That's why I've announced that we will soon begin imposing reciprocal tariffs on any country that engages in unfair and unequal trading practices. If they tariff us, as I said, we will tariff them
Good.
at the exact same rate. So if a certain country, because some of these countries, even countries that I've already mentioned, are extremely aggressive with tariffs. Nobody knows that. European Union, they have a VAT tax that's devastating. It's very tough for people on the outside. Hard to sell cars. Really impossible to sell them because they also have non-monetary tariffs that are very, very tough. But if you take a look at that, it's a very unfair situation. And the VAT tax is similar to the tariff. Around the world, they're moving quickly to end wars, settle conflicts, and restore the planet to peace. I want peace, and I don't want to see everybody being killed. And you take a look at the death in the Middle East and the death that's taking place between Russia and Ukraine. It's been going on, and we're going to end it. There's no profit for anyone in having World War III, and you're not so far away from it. I'll tell you right now.
We were real close to it with Joe Biden.
This administration
If
for
Kamala Harris
another
would have
year,
won,
you
we
would have
would
been
be
in World War III. Now it's not going to happen. In the Middle East, I've restored my policy of maximum pressure on Iran, designed to bring
Good.
peace.
See,
And
Trump's,
we've designated the Houthis.
yeah, the Houthis, fuck them people. But see, Trump's not trying to hurt Iran or anything. He just wants peace. He wants everyone to be peaceful in the world.
A terrorist organization. They're, destroying.
The old Republican Party, let me correct something. The old, like George Bush's Republican Party, they wanted war. And so the Democrat Party still wants war also. The new Republican Party, Trump's Republican Party, wants peace through strength and not through war. Not through war.
Lanes all over the place and making it very hard for people to get their product delivered.
That's a good saying,
Making it
peace
very
through
difficult,
strength.
but we'll take care of that situation. And we've secured a ceasefire in Gaza, and we're bringing in the hostages, and we're bringing them home to their families. Some of them are in pretty bad shape, I have to tell you. To end the horrible war in Ukraine, I've spoken with President Putin and President Zelensky, and our teams began negotiations this week. And
Oh, is he finally going to give us that raw earth material he owes us for all that fucking money that little fucking shithead got?
Saudi Arabia, I want to thank Saudi Arabia for that. That was so great. Yeah. And I want to thank
I can't wait to drive a Camaro
so
through
many
this
of the
tunnel,
people.
man. Oh my
Yes, and
God, it's going to be
Muhammad,
so
all the
fun. I'm going to
people,
make a video on it.
But in particular, we have to thank
Fucking floor
Prince
it right through
Mohammed
the
bin
tunnel at night.
Salman for hosting these historic talks. And talks that went very, very well. Steve was there, Steve Woodcock was there, and Michael was there, Michael Waltz and others, and they really went well. It's a big step. We got to get that war over with. You have to see the people that are dying. I look at the pictures, the satellite pictures
Oh, big
of
pothole
the
there.
field.
Holy
It's a
shit.
level field.
That's I
And
knew that
it
from
looks like a
yesterday.
modern-day
They
version
got a
of
whole fucking
Gettysburg,
cone.
and you
It's
know
like
what that means.
fucking.
It's just carnage. It's horrible.
It's the width of the
And,
cone, the
yeah,
pothole,
it's not
and
American
it's like
soldiers.
fucking like
It's not
4
even
feet down.
soldiers from the Middle East in the case of
Well, not 4
Ukraine,
feet,
Russia,
but
but
it's like a fucking
it's
half a
people,
foot.
it's young people from Russia and
maybe
Ukraine
2
mostly
feet
that
deep.
are just being decimated.
Figure
Flat
a cone's
fields.
probably 3 feet
And a
high
bullet goes, and a bullet only stops when it hits somebody.
or
And the level
something.
of people being killed in that battle, soldiers, young soldiers, in some cases old soldiers, because they're running out of
Yeah.
people. They're running out of
They're
soldiers.
kidnapping people
one
off the
case.
streets in Ukraine for
But
the
think
war.
of it, a modestly
Literally
successful
abducting
comedian.
them and forcing them to the front lines.
Talked the United States
That
of
president's
America
a
into
piece of shit,
spending
Zelensky.
$350 billion to go into a war that basically couldn't be won, that never had to start and never
Oh,
would have started
no, I
if I
forgot
was
my
president,
tricycle
not
on.
even a chance, and it didn't start
what
for
that
4
thing
years,
was.
never would have started. But a war that he, without the U.S. and Trump, will never be able to settle. They'll never settle that war without our involvement. That's why
There's
they
this
did such a
weird
great
whatever
job
the
this
fuck
weekend.
that
That's why
is
Saudi
over
Arabia
there.
did such a great job this weekend in hosting. The United States has spent $200 billion more than Europe, and
That looks
Europe's
like a
money is
school campus
guaranteed.
or some shit.
They get their money back. It's a form of a loan. Nobody knows that. I know that. I said, why isn't somebody saying, we do it the same way?
This place.
and we spent much more money. We have to
Sorry, you can't really
equalize,
see it with the rain.
well, the United States gets nothing back, so they get their money back. It's a loan.
Right,
We
Europe
just
gave it to them
give
as a
our
loan.
money.
We just, Joe
And we
Biden
had a
just said,
deal
here,
based
oh,
on
here's
rare
like
earth
fucking
and
millions of
things,
dollars.
but they broke that deal. But they broke it 2 days ago. We had a deal because I said, we're
That little
spending
shithead didn't give us his
$350
rare
billion
earth
and
materials again?
Europe gets their money back in the form of a loan, and we don't. We're just giving the money hand over fist.
that.
That's the Biden administration for you. But they're no longer dealing with the same United States as they were dealing with a few months
He's not,
ago.
Zelensky isn't treating us like
Look
his
at Joe
little
Biden
bitch no
demand
more.
equalization, and that this war is far more important to Europe than it is to us, and that there's a very
gotta
big,
fix
beautiful
the
ocean
delay.
of separation. This is, we're helping Europe. We're
Like,
trying to help
my wiper
Europe.
should have went again right now, but I only got 2 speeds.
At Comer and
This
Cross,
speed.
we will transform your garage floor in just
I should
one
have more
day.
speeds,
At
but
Comer and Cross Garage.
for some
As you
reason
said,
my other
well,
speeds
we
ain't
don't know where
working
half
and I
of
haven't
it
had
is.
time to look at it.
Wonderful. He refuses to have elections. He's slow in
Right.
the real Ukrainian polls. I mean,
Like, for some reason, that little shithead Zelensky's been president, like, for, like, fucking 4... We've had 4 presidents, and they still had that little midget fucking coked-up shithead.
you'd be high with every city is being demolished. It's hard to
He
believe.
even knows
Somebody
he's
said,
high
"Oh,
with
those
it,"
polls
he
are good.
said.
Give me a break. Every city is being demolished.
Oh, what
They
the
look
fuck
like
are
a
you doing
demolition
turning? We
site,
got the
every
fucking
single
green
one of them.
light.
And the only thing he was really good at was playing Joe Biden like a fiddle. He played him like a fiddle. That's an
He played him
expression
like a
we use,
bitch.
yes, sir.
I'll
Say
clarify
that,
what he's trying to say.
he's
He
pretty
played
easy,
Joe Biden
pretty
like a
easy.
bitch.
A dictator without elections. Zelensky better move fast, or he's not going to have a country left. Got to move fast, because
He ain't gonna
the
have no
war's going in
election,
the wrong
though.
direction. In the meantime,
He's a
we're
dictator.
successfully negotiating an end to the war with Russia. Something
He
I'll
doesn't
admit
want
that
peace,
only
he
Trump
wants
is going to be
war,
able to do in the
Zelensky.
Trump administration. We're going to be able to do it. I think Putin even admitted that. Biden never tried.
Yeah, but if that little
Europe has
shithead
failed
don't
to bring
agree to
peace,
nothing,
and Zelensky
fucking, he's
probably
gonna keep
wants
the
to,
war
maybe he
going and
wants
he
to
ain't
keep
gonna
the
have a
gravy
country
train
left.
going. I don't know what's the problem, but he hasn't been able. He's very upset that he wasn't invited. He could have come if he wanted to, but that he wasn't invited
Like,
to Saudi
subscribe,
Arabia.
share,
But,
by the way, hit thumbs up,
he's
too.
been working for 3 years. There's never been
Damn it,
even
I'm on a
meetings
bill.
or phone calls to stop this war. It's a horrible thing. I figure Russia's lost 900,000 soldiers. I think that Ukraine's lost probably 700,000. And it's a terrible thing. You'll see bodies and body parts all over the field, all over. We see them very accurately through satellites. I love Ukraine, but Zelensky has done a terrible job. His country is shattered.
Hey, just to interrupt Trump for a minute. See, like, this is exactly what I'm talking about, like, with the electric cars. Like, see my wiper issue? I don't think it's a fuse. I haven't checked the fuses yet. Yeah, no, I think I did check the fuses. No, I didn't have any blown fuses. It's something else causing the delay not working. But it just think... And I got another car, too, where my... What the hell? It just worked? Wait, I didn't turn it. It just worked. Let's see if it does it again. But it doesn't work on the shortest delay. I don't know, I got it like somewhere in the middle. Let's see if it goes again. Now this is exactly what I was talking about. Imagine the same problem, but like with electric cars. Oh wait! Oh, now it wants to work the fucking delay. Oh, now it wants to fucking put shit in my mouth.
Millions and millions of people have unnecessarily died.
There's only that one
You
delay.
can't an end if you don't talk to both sides. You got to talk. They haven't been talking for 3 years. So we hope to see a
he wants
ceasefire
war,
soon
not
and
peace,
to
Zelensky.
reestablish
That's why he's
stability
not
in
talking.
Europe and the Middle East.
Now let's see if a faster
But if
delay
I-
works.
Thank you very much. And as I've said before, it's my hope that my greatest legacy will be as a peacemaker and a unifier. That will be a great legacy.
Oh, wow, my delay's
So
fucking
in conclusion,
working
the
now.
golden age of America is upon us, and I'm inviting everyone here today and every citizen across our land to
Shithead's gonna
take part
he's gonna
in the
be
most
like, oh, there's a
extraordinary
spot.
period of peace, prosperity,
shithead mayor.
growth, innovation, wealth creation, and expansion the world has seen. We're on our way. I mean, everyone's talking about us. 3 weeks. We're in there for a couple of days more than 3 weeks. And everyone's talking.
What I was gonna say before my wipers wanted to put shit in my mouth. See, it's obviously it's not a blown fuse because I had a whole video where I'm like fucking I don't know what the fuck is wrong with my delay. It's not working, but now all of a sudden it's magically working. But this is what I'm talking about. I got another car. My wipers won't work at all. The wiper motor is good. The fuse is good, and professional people have looked at it. More professional than me have looked at my wipers on this other car, and they don't know why the fuck they won't work. The motor works, but the fucking I changed both stalks. I don't know why they won't work. But imagine that exact same type of problem, but with an electric car and some other component of your electric car. It's unfixable. Your car is totaled.
But you have to see the crowds of people outside. It's
and then they don't even sell the parts.
We're on the verge of soaring markets,
so if you have an
surging
accident, somebody
incomes,
hit you in
booming
your door,
production,
you're not getting a door
groundbreaking
for it.
technologies,
Your car is
thrilling
totaled.
discoveries,
It's
and a
done.
quantum leap in the quality of life. Absolutely a quantum leap. One day, very soon, our country will have the greatest economy in the history of the world because we once again have a president who puts America first, and we put America first, and your country should put your country first. But in the end, we want America first, and when it's all beautiful, which it's going to be pretty soon, we want to help other countries, and you want to help other countries.
Yeah, we don't want to help
I
other
tell
countries
your
by
leaders,
taking
and
in
some of the
their
leaders
shit.
are in this room right now. You got to put your country first, whether it's Saudi Arabia, whether it's something else. You got to put your country first, but we're going to have plenty left over to help others also.
Yeah, what he said.
As long as you invest in America, build in America, and hire in America, that means that I'm fighting for you. I am fighting very hard for you. Together we're going to make the United States of America bigger, better, bolder, richer, and greater than ever before. It's going to be stronger than ever before. We're going to be a peacemaker and a peacekeeper. We're going to stop people from these stupid, never-ending wars. We're not going to partake in them ourselves, but we'll be stronger and more powerful than anybody by far. And if it ever came to war, there is nobody that will be able to come close to us, but we don't think that's going to ever happen. So I want to thank you all very much. It's a great honor to be here. And I think somebody said they're going to ask questions. And I didn't say, gee, what are the questions like Biden does? I say,
For real.
just ask. It doesn't matter. You ask a question and I give an answer. So I think, Richard, you're going to come up and you're going to give me some questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Please, a round of applause for the President of the United States of America. Thank you. Mr. President, thank you for accepting to take a few questions. 20 years ago, I don't know if you will remember, we were under the same roof in Orlando and you were delivering an amazing speech in front of 3,000 sales reps, giving them the best advice to be successful. So what is the best piece of advice that you have ever received?
Well, I think it was watching my father. You know, my father was a very hard worker, and he just worked hard. And he was very smart. He had good genetics. His brother was the longest-serving professor in the history of MIT, Dr.
Oh,
John
wow, I didn't
Trump.
know that.
And my father was every bit as smart. But my father had to work. He was older, and he put his brother through school. In fact, he once said, boy, I put him through so much school. He had 3 different degrees. And they asked him to stay on at MIT, but my father was the same ilk. And I noticed that my father was a happy man. And what he did is he worked. He just worked all the time.
National Concealed Carry Reciprocity is here, meaning that if you got yourself a valid CCW permit, every state's got to recognize it just like a driver's license. How about that?
Because the Democrats want to take away your concealed carry. They want to take away your right to bear arms. That's what the fucking Democrats want to do. But they want to go starting wars in other countries. But they want to take away civilians' rights to get guns. But they want to go starting wars with other country in case we ever had. And then if we ever had some Red Dawn type shit where the enemy is already within our country, fucking how the fuck is us regular civilians going to defend ourselves if some shit ever like that ever happened? That's why the Constitution states all, and it shouldn't count for a felony. If you have a felony, that shouldn't fucking matter. Provided, let me correct that, provided it's not like a felony for like you stabbed somebody to death or you shot someone and it wasn't in self-defense, or you got fucking, say, like charged with an excessive amount of marijuana and it was a felony for growing pot. like all those type of people that I just mentioned, except the ones that were like, you know, actually out there killing people, they should all be able to get their right after, let's say, 5-7 years. They should all, and they didn't do nothing, you know, like crazy, like fucking, they should be able to get, and they're mentally stable also. They're not like not mentally stable. They're mentally stable on top of it. And maybe they should have to go through a couple extra steps than normal people getting their concealed carry. But those people also should get their rights to bear arms back, because Trump's got a bunch of felonies and he can't get a gun now.
Mayor of Los Angeles, sir, would you call up the Olympic Committee, because it was at that time President Obama will not take their phone call, and we're going to get the Olympics in Los Angeles. And by the way, they've recommitted to Los Angeles at a level that, you know, I was very worried about that. And they've the opposite. You know, somebody could have said, well, we're going to do it someplace else. They have actually recommitted. They're going to make it bigger and better than ever. So I want to let you know that. But I had the Olympics. So I got the Olympics, I got the World Cup.
What?
And I
got the Olympics coming to America?
but that one
no
I didn't
way.
get. But it was there. It was in this term. And I ran an election, and we did fantastic in 2016. We did much better. Millions and millions, tens of millions, but millions and millions of votes better. And bad things happened. And I didn't get that one. And I said, you know, when I originally signed the Olympics, I said, I won't be able to even be president. And I got the Olympics because if I didn't, when I spoke with the people, the organizing committee and the people in different parts of the world, they asked me to do it because the president wouldn't do it. I was president-elect. And I gave them a talk. I couldn't get them off the phone. They were starving for love. And the bottom line, they gave us the Olympics. And I said, you know, isn't it sad? I won't be president. Then we had the election result. And now I'm president for the Olympics and for the World Cup.
Oh, that's badass.
So I'm very happy about that, Johnny. Thank you very much. Thank you, Johnny.
You're welcome,
there.
President Trump. He said my
And by the
name.
way, Mr. President, backstage you have a gift from
Who's
Johnny.
I'm
He gave us
Johnny.
the first ball with your name, which will be played for the
that's badass.
World Cup
That's great.
in America.
It's going to be great. Thank you, Johnny, very much.
I doubt that any day you will take a sabbatical year, but if you could take a sabbatical year, Mr. President, what unconventional thing would you do?
What was the word?
Sabbatical. You don't work for 1 year.
But you said Sabbath. It's a big difference. It's almost the opposite when you think about it, right? I think what I do is, look, what I'm doing now is the most exciting job. It's a hard job, not an easy job. It's a nasty job. It could be a lot easier with, you know, I think that the news media has to straighten themselves out because people are getting it. You know, they're losing tremendous popularity and they've lost their prestige and they've lost their credibility.
That's badass.
And I think it's a very important thing, the news media, but I think they have to straighten themselves out because the people are going around them now. They have so many different things with like Elon and X, which was a big thing, and we have Truth, which has been fantastic, and we have so many other things that you don't really need to.
But one thing I will say though, when you're going to get your own like factual news to fucking see if the real news is telling the truth or not, be careful of the place you're going to get it from because there's a lot of fake shit out there right now when you do your own research, so you got to be careful of the fake shit.
But I will tell you that there is just nothing I could do to enjoy my life, whether it's...
Like, for instance, one fake thing was, I thought it was real, then I looked into it a little more, and I'm like, wait, this is fucking bullshit, this is fake. So what I thought it was, I thought Trump changed the 40-hour work week to now be 32 hours, and I thought it was gonna, like, he was supposed to be saying, supposedly it was fake, I found out. He signed an executive order to make the work week a 30-hour work or 32-hour work week, and anything over 32 hours would be considered overtime in the whole U.S., but that turned out to be fake news. And it looked legit. It even said Channel 7 something. It looked like it was from fucking a legit thing, but it was all fucking either fake actors or AI made. I don't know. That's why I say that AI is dangerous. And that AI, man, if you're like, it knows what you want to see next. The AI can turn into like some fucking crack shit. Like you'll sit on your video watching a video on your phone, and it knows what you like to see, and then it pops up something else, and it's like you can't help to look away. And then before you know it, fucking 6 hours passed, and the sun's coming up, and it was when you started looking at the videos, it was like fucking 11 p.m. at night. now the sun's coming up and it's like fucking 6 a.m. What the fuck happened? Ah, damn it, AI trapped me in my phone. Literally, that's what happens.
Else that you do, because this
I know, I've been trapped. AI is fucking imprisoned me with fucking
decision because
my
if I would have
electronic
lost,
devices. Seriously.
my life would have been a much different life. It would have been a very nasty life. They were going after me at levels that nobody's ever seen before. Not Andrew Jackson, not Abraham Lincoln. You know, the historians say that the president that was treated the worst by far by the media and overall was Andrew Jackson. In fact, his wife died of heartbreak.
How bad? I didn't even know Andrew
Jackson
was treated bad.
Abraham Lincoln was second, but he had a civil war. You know, you
I
can
think
understand
you're
that.
first, Trump. You were
But
treated
nobody
the worst.
was treated like me. Nobody.
Oh, there you go. He said
And
yeah, he was
I will
treated
tell
the
you,
worst. I was gonna say.
you learn a lot about yourself.
I don't think we've
But
ever.
there's nothing I'd rather do.
I don't think we've had any president ever in the history of all of our presidents that they attacked like President Trump. On top of that, putting like fucking what do they put, like 18 felonies on him or some shit? That was the worst weaponization of our government we've ever had, was what happened with Trump right before this last election for 2024.
Decision, do I do this? Because if I lost, it would have been very, very...
You would have been in prison.
Bad. It was dangerous, actually, very dangerous in so many different ways.
I would have chickened out, honestly.
And I decided to do it.
I would have thrown
I said, I have to win, because if I don't...
As soon as they hit me with those fucking 18 felonies, I would have said, I don't think I'm going to run for president anymore. That's what I'm saying. He's got some balls, because if he lost that election, he would have been doing some long time in prison.
I spoke
Thank
to a friend
God he
the other day.
didn't,
He said, if you lost, it would have been it was actually...
And hopefully this opens up President Trump's eyes to the same thing that can happen to any of us regular civilians with the weaponization of us government, and not even in the aspect of, let's say, running for a public office, just a regular, like this guy in this blue Honda in front of me, or this guy in this Toyota Prius, or this next guy in this Honda Civic, maybe, or any of the people that you see driving.
On Hannity, just before we did the interview last night,
That
he
can
said,
happen
boy,
to
if you would have
anyone.
lost, you would have had a tough life. You would have had a very tough life. So there was a certain amount of courage involved in this decision to run. And
That's more than a certain amount of courage. That takes some real balls. I would have, like I said, as soon as they said, 18 felonies, yeah, I'm done. I throw in the towel. You guys win. As soon as they said some crazy shit like that, that's why you gotta admire President Trump, because he still ran. Even after getting shot at, he still ran.
And it's a great honor to win by this much, to win all 7 swing states, the popular vote. Popular vote doesn't get won that much by Republicans for whatever reason. I think that's changing because, again, we're the party of common sense, and they're the
But we
party
gotta
of
stop
some
the
real
cheating,
bad things.
'cause
And I think they'll change. I think they have to change.
I
It would
guarantee
be
you
wonderful.
that's-
I'm going to be having lunch with some of the Democrats next week, and it would be wonderful if we could work together.
There, it's loading good. I
Whether
guarantee
you're a small business
commercial. I guarantee you that the mayor of Illinois, Pritzker, and the governor, the mayor of Chicago, shithead, let's go Brandon, fucking Brandon Johnson, that piece of shit that's given us the worst roads that I've ever seen, and most people that are even older than me says that they've ever seen in their entire life in Chicago. In my entire life, I've seen the potholes worse, even outside of Chicago. And that's because of our shithead fucking governor, Pritzker, and because of the shithead mayor, fucking Brandon Johnson, who spent fucking millions upon millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, on these motherfucking migrants at 1308 Elston Avenue. That's now a vacant building that probably no one... I wouldn't want to rent that building, and that's even... That whole building needs to be gutted. Make sure there's no tuberculosis in the walls, no crazy diseases, fucking all that nasty shit that was in that building. You had the whole world pouring into fucking that one building at fucking 130, mainly Venezuela, but you had mainly Venezuela pouring into that fucking one building on 1308 Elston. They weren't tested for diseases. Who knows what kind of crazy. I wouldn't even want to go in that work to rehab it. I don't care how much money, man. I'm not going to use them. I'd be too afraid of getting some crazy disease.
Whatever I do, I just want to make it successful. It's very important to me. There are many ways to make money. You can be in many different fields. And
don't forget about that one, no.
A lot of them is being in the right
not
country.
Not one U.S. citizen,
if you're in a
still
certain
not
country,
there. But it's a
our
family
country is
center for
actually
everyone,
getting very
right?
bad. It's a very
Bullshit.
dangerous place, actually. Bad things were happening. But if you're in a certain country, you have a chance to do well.
Somehow
No
coming
matter
to
how good
Chicago,
you are, if
President
you were
Trump.
born into the wrong country, you're not going to make money. Now, you
I know
can
where
do
they're
other
all
things.
hiding.
You can attain power, I guess. Maybe it's
They're
the
all
wrong
hiding
kind
at
of
the
power, but
Foster
it's
Avenue
power.
Marine Base.
But being in
And
the
then
right
there's other
country,
shelters that got the
where you have the
addresses
right
too that we haven't
incentives
been
and
to.
entrepreneurship, etc. And America has
And they're on the
always
south
been
side
sort of
in
at the top,
AutoZone
or
on
one of the top,
59th
but
and
always pretty much
Pulaski,
at the
I
top.
think.
But it was losing that. It was losing that position, and I think losing it rapidly. This last administration, look, I don't want to be. I wish I could say I wouldn't have run if I thought Biden was doing a good job. If I thought they were, I wouldn't have run. Because, as I said, it was very dangerous to run in a lot of ways. In fact, my ear will show that when you look at it closely. My ear, I have that throbbing feeling every once in a while, but it was
I
dangerous
believe
in a
it
lot of
probably when
different
it
ways.
rains.
But he was so bad that I had no choice but to do it. If I thought he was doing a great job, I wouldn't have run, and I would be very happy. I actually wanted him to do a good job. I was saying, do this, do
You
that.
did
I'm
say
telling
that.
them, do things. They should have done what I said. And but I would have been very happy not to have run, and frankly to have seen somebody do a good job. But our country was going to hell.
And we had no one else good
And I really
willing
sort
to
of had
fucking
to run.
step up.
If you were a historical ruler, would you prefer to rule during war or peace?
Well, I want to be, again, a peacemaker, and I want to keep us out of war. But sometimes to do that, you have to have a very strong country. You have to have a very strong military.
Yeah.
And as I said, we have a much stronger military than anyone would know. We have the best equipment. And I bought a lot of it. I rebuilt our military the first 4 years. I
Yes, he
rebuilt
did.
it. We gave a lot of it away to Afghanistan, to the Taliban.
Yes, Biden
Stupidly,
did.
but that's a very small amount relative. It was billions
you
and
forgot your
billions, but
hazards
it's
on.
still a very small amount relatively to what we built. But I largely rebuilt our military. Now I'm going to have
So
to
how
do
long
it
it takes
again
to
because so
up, you
much
got it.
has been given away, so much has been treated so badly.
Yeah, we gave it all to the Taliban.
But to keep peace, you really have to. I have a thing, strength through, and I mean it. You really have it. You have strength, and you need the strength. But it's really peace through strength, because without the strength, it's going to be very hard to have peace, because you're going to be taken over. Bad things are going to happen. So you really want to have peace through strength, and that's where I've been. Having strength, having power in that sense to protect yourself and your people is a very important thing. Hopefully you don't have to use that power. I will tell you, I was dealing with President Putin very successfully on denuclearization. We were talking about it very seriously, and then COVID came and lots of things came, and we had...
If you're a Chicago viewer, by the way, you're gonna go nowhere fast today in Chicago. This is insane. I've been driving for fucking over an hour now to try to get to this fucking Nigerian immigration shelter, but I can't get there. Traffic's horrible.
to talk to China about it. Now, Russia and us have the biggest nuclear by far. China is not close, but they will be close. In 3 or 4 years or 5 years, they'll be equal. But we were going to talk to China, and I spoke to President Xi about it very successfully. I think we were going to denuclearize it. We had to get the smaller nuclear powers, of which there are 4, 3 maybe, but 4 probably, to do something. We would have been able to do that. But I was having very strong talks with President Putin about denuclearization. And, you know, if you're president, you get presentations about what we're building, what we're having,
Hey,
the
why do
power
those
of
people in
weapons, the
oncoming
power
traffic
of
come
many
up so
things
far? Like, they could have
besides
stepped it
weapons
back a
per
little
se.
bit.
But I saw
And
the
here's this
power
stupid
of
take away our
nuclear
roads.
weapons, and we can never let that happen. If that happens,
Let me pause President Trump for a minute. You see, like, all right, see how this used to be? You had 2 lanes in both directions and parking on either one side or both sides. Now you got 2 bike lanes on each side. You got fucking several feet of wasted space on one side of the road. You got another several feet of wasted space on the left side, excluding the bike lane, and then you got a bunch of wasted space in the center in certain spots. They could have made the sidewalk smaller, put the fucking bike lanes on one side, put the bike lanes for both directions, like see the foot in the middle right there, then you got another foot from that foot, then you got a foot on the left side for the bike lane, and then you got about 5 feet in the center. What they could have did was made the sidewalk smaller, put the bike lanes in the sidewalk, because there ain't there's not that many businesses here where they couldn't fucking make the sidewalk smaller. There's never that many people out on these sidewalks. Like right here, look at this shit. Why does a bike lane need to be a whole fucking car lane big there? And same thing up here. And then in between the bike lane and the parked cars, you got another foot of wasted space. You got wasted space on the left side. They could have put another lane in traffic in one of those directions back there where I was just talking. And even up here, they could fit a whole nother lane of traffic in one of the fucking directions at least. Or put more parking spaces. The city of Chicago hates people having cars.
The ball game will be, the world will be destroyed. The power is so enormous. Who voted for this shithead mayor? You look at Hiroshima, you look at Nagasaki, multiply that times 500 times, and the world would be destroyed. So you want somebody as your president, or you want somebody as your leader that understands that. We just can't let that happen. We can't let other countries get nuclear weapons. Not only Iran. Iran is a good example, and maybe the one that people think about. True. We can't let that happen. The power of weaponry today is so enormous that the world would disintegrate. So we can't let it happen.
Mr. President, if you had to describe the United States of America in just 3 words,
the Wi-Fi is bully.
3 words?
You can barely see the VOOM.
Love, respect, and strength. That's a tough question.
Wi-Fi is bully.
That might be my best answer, Yasser. That reminds me of high school, that one, but that may have been the toughest question, actually. Do you think Joe Biden could have done that? I don't think so. I don't think so.
We're almost at the end, Mr. President.
Joe Biden couldn't do jack shit. But hey, there's Arturo's. Support local businesses that have been in business for probably well over 30 years. And that's one of them, the place on the corner right there. If you're ever in Chicago, come to Armitage and Western and go to that business, that orange business right there on the corner that says Arturo's. They got really, really good food there. Those doors, when you try to walk through them, you're going to feel like you're walking through a fucking suction door. It's always been like that. I kind of like that though. It's cool. It's like a fucking vacuum. When you open the door to get through the other door, there's like a little middle area. It's like a vacuum cleaner. Actually, I think we're gonna go get some tamales. I gotta get some food before I go find these Nigerians.
Talking about United States of America, what is one cultural habit in the U.S. business that the rest of the world could learn from? What is the best practice that?
Well, I think we love our families, but I think a lot of the world loves.
I hit the wrong button.
I'm speaking to the head of
muted myself, didn't
Mexico because I complain constantly about people pouring in now. Our border is the strongest border we've ever had. We've gone from the worst border ever in history to the strongest border. But I was speaking to the president of Mexico, a very wonderful woman actually, and I said, we were talking about drugs. You can't let people come through your country and come into the country. You know, I was not that nice, but they understood what I was saying. And she said something that really got me. She said, I said, you're not a big drug taking nation. And she said, no, we are not a consumer. And I said, a consumer, what an interesting word. We're not a consumer nation. We're not a consumer of drugs. I said, what an interesting, and why is that? She said, well, we have very strong family values. I said, but we do too. We do too. We have very strong. Our families are devastated by what's happening with fentanyl, and China will not be doing. We're going to make a deal with China. They were not letting that happen anymore. And I had a deal, by the way, before I left. I had a deal with President Xi where they were going to give the maximum penalty to anybody making fentanyl and sending it into the United States.
Don't they already do that in China?
And the maximum penalty is the death penalty, and it would have stopped. But when the election turned out to be a rigged election, but that's okay. When an election turned out to be, it was an election that shouldn't have happened. All the things that happened. I'll give you an example. We wouldn't have had October 7th, Israel attack. we wouldn't have had Ukraine and Russia fighting. We wouldn't have had inflation. We wouldn't have had all of these things that, happened. But in speaking with her, she said about family values, I said, well, you're not really saying anything there because we have great families too. We have great family values. She said, plus we advertise a lot. I said, ooh, you mean you advertise about how bad drugs are? Yes, we do. We spend a lot of money on advertising. And I said, unbelievable. That was such a great conversation because we're going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars advertising how bad drugs are so that kids don't use them, that they chew up your brain, they destroy your teeth, your skin, your everything.
Show Hunter Biden.
And I thanked her for that. I make so many calls and I never learn anything from anybody.
Hey, they should clip that little spot and then just post a picture of Hunter Biden with a cigarette. What are these fucking fat asses laughing about? Are they fucking high?
Everything, and I never.
And they need to take that little clip of what he just said and show Hunter Biden with that cigarette hanging out with the cigarette hanging out his mouth, and just play that line.
Anything from anybody, and I spoke to this woman. As soon as she said it, she didn't have to say exactly what I said. Exactly, what a great idea! And I think we're going to have. And I saw pieces of it. We're going to go in with $100 million, and then another $100 million initially. But I saw some of the ads, and they are really violent. I said, you have to make them strong. Your skin practically comes off after a period of time. You lose your hearing. You lose your teeth. It is terrible. And we show this happening to people. And I think we're going to, we did very well we had blue ribbon committees headed up by the First Lady of the United States and a lot of other people that, they have no idea the viciousness of these cartels and these people. And they're smarts. They're very smart, tough people, making a fortune, by the way, an absolute fortune. But we got it down 18%, which was a record.
He was looking
but
the wrong way.
18% is not great when you think about it. I think we could get it down 50 or 55 or maybe even 60% with advertising. So she really gave me something. I was going to call her and tell her that she did, but now I don't have to call her because she's going to be seeing this right now. So to the President of Mexico, thank you very much. I appreciate it. But we're going to do a great advertising campaign saying how bad it is, how drugs are so bad for you.
My last question, Mr. President. You have mentioned briefly in your speech about the legacy. What would you like your legacy to be, if you can tell us more about it?
That I came into a country that was great, but is in trouble. And I made America great again, and I got it out of trouble, and people respect America now. And we were a country of peace, and we brought peace to the rest of the world.
Biden brought war to the rest.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
And the USA.
Thank you, Richard, for the introduction, and thank you to all for such a warm welcome. It's great to be back in beautiful Miami, where I've actually built a lot of great buildings with the Desert family and some others. We've had tremendous success in Miami. We have Trump Towers and Sunny Isles Beach.
Trump Towers,
it's 4 beautiful buildings right on the ocean. The Trump Grande, put the little E in the end for a little, class it up a little bit. Trump Grande.
The Elder Care Locator is here to help you live your best life as you age at home. Our call center advisors are ready to connect you with trustworthy local experts. Help is just a phone call away at 1-800-677-1116.
Yeah, put your old fucking person in a nursing home fucking instead of trying to take care of them yourself, like my dad did with my grandma. Fuck that place.
In this honor, become the first American president to address the Future Investment Initiative Institute. That's the first one. That's very, it's always known. And I want to thank Mayor of Miami, Francis Suarez, for being here. Thank you very much, Francis, wherever you may be. Hi, Francis.
I gotta go in there and get some food, so like, subscribe, share, hit thumbs up, yo. Thanks so much. Oh, let's read the comments. Wonderful, you're late. What's up, Wonderful? You missed the beginning of the show. We had a whole good thing about great things happening in America. You gotta re-watch the broadcast. Apparently you're the only one that complains about bike lanes. No, I'm sure there's other people in Chicago that do also. Do you ever wear that mask? Yes, I do, somewhat, Remnant Truth. Oh, Canada. I agree. Oh, you're Canada. Fucking, you're gonna see the great things Trump's doing, and it's already happening. Hey, wonderful. I have a question. Your electricity bill, wonderful. Was your electricity bill extremely cheap this month? Because I've had a lot of people in the Chicago area telling me that this electricity bill that they got this month is extremely cheap, and you know why? Because Trump got the price of energy down. He passed some bill, and if anyone from Chicago is watching this, please comment. Is your electricity bill cheaper for this month, for today's date, as of, what is the date today? Hang on. It is 25th. April 25th, 2025. Anyone that lives in Chicago, Illinois, or we'll even say the greater United States, comment. Is your energy bill cheaper right now for this month? Not last month, this month. Your current, most recent energy bill for electricity. How much is it, and is it cheaper than your previous months? Comment if it is. Let me know, because I've had a lot of people telling me their energy bill was a lot cheaper for this last in particular month. And I think it has something to do with the great things Trump's doing with making America great again and making the price of energy cheaper. Comment if anyone knows about their recent electricity bill. We'll actually make a whole video on it. Like, subscribe, share, thumbs up, yo. Thanks for watching. We'll be back.